Hi, my name is Ahmad, and this video is a part two about myths about World War II. And in this video, I will not be Ahmad. Yes? Can I be in the video? What? You heard my last two videos and I wasn't even in that one. But you know what? Whatever. I'll be in the next one. Just take it, sit down, do whatever makes you comfortable, okay? Alright. Wait, you aren't the voiceover guy? No? Who are you talking about? Nothing. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Heather, and my cousin already told you what this video is going to be about, and we have a very special guest, Darlene.
Hello guys, I'm Darlene and I'll be helping him out with his video today. And since I don't want you to look at my face, I'll be using the Shrek meme. Because why not? So, first myth. The Japanese were supreme jungle fighters. After Japan joined the war in December 1941, a perception developed among the Western allies that the Japanese were gifted jungle fighters. The British in particular convinced themselves that their foes were natural jungle fighters during the Malay campaign when the Japanese, invading from the north, advanced the length of the Malay Peninsula, brushing aside or sidestepping all opposition, and captured the fortress city of Singapore, despite being outnumbered by the British. However, Japan has no more tropical jungles than the Britain, and the Japanese had no more natural aptitude for jungle fighting than the British. The Japanese prevailed in the Malay jungles because their troops were hardened veterans while their opponents were unexperienced.
That was a good job, Darlene. Myth number 2. The North African campaign was vital to winning the war. Now, this... Why am I looking up? So hilarious. This myth is that Hitler had a plan to take over North Africa and Egypt's oil fields, giving them access, like my DMs. If you want my DMs, look in the description below. There's no actual DMs. The access to the Middle East and them being able to attack the USSR and being able to win the war because they overpowered the USSR. Now the problem with this myth is that myth is that Hitler never had a plan to do anything with the Middle East. And the only reason he went to North Africa was to bail out Mussolini. Mussolini, don't you be a meanie, don't you be a meanie. He was a meanie. I so have coronavirus. No. Shut up. I so have coronavirus. If they did do that, they would have gotten the Suez Canal, partially blocking off trade for their enemies. But their enemies still had other trade routes, which would have defeated the purpose of even trying to block off trade anyway. Go, Darlene. Don't edit that out. I will kill you if you do.
The resistance was vital for winning the war. A common myth has it that the resistance was widespread and that the efforts of those clandestine groups tipped the balance in the Allies' favor. It is true, Eastern European resistance movements contributed materially to victory in many ways. However, it was discovered after the war that the German nuclear program was nowhere near as advanced as had been assumed because early in their research, German physicists took a wrong turn and followed it away from the path that leads to nuclear weapons. The war would have lasted another decade, and Germany would have been no longer to produce an atomic bomb in 1955 than she did in 1945.
That was a great presentation, Darlene. Thank you so much, but you're never going to replace me, okay? I'm the bad one around here. I was the first one he introduced before Mokela, before Pedro, before you. Oh, you didn't even get introduced on here. But boo. Oh yeah, and I was on here before a douchebag named Chad. He sucks. We both can agree on that. Okay, number 4. Another myth is that Japan was bombed because of racism, which I think, personally I think is a misuse of prejudice. And, it's because, God, my nose is dripping like a faucet. Get it? Like a faucet, yeah. My nose is dripping, drip. My nose is dripping. I have coronavirus. I definitely have coronavirus. There's no denial. Maybe I'm allergic to my weave. Yep. A lot of people say I look like my cousin without my wig. Sister shaved my head when I was a little girl. So don't ask. There was a lot of racism against the Japanese more than the Germans or the Nazis or whatever. Japan was bombed instead of Germany because Germans were white and Americans would not be able to stomach that. Which I think is crazy. I get that that there was a lot of racism towards Japanese people more than Germans. I can say that. But that does not mean that they bombed them because they were Japanese. The thing is, the Manhattan Project was about bombing Germany. The only reason they wanted to bomb Germany, the only reason why they didn't, is because Germany surrendered before, and Japan was still killing thousands of people daily. So they bombed them. Yes, they did bomb them. But you cannot say that they did it because of racism. They did it because it was a necessity. And I'm not only saying that because I'm American. It doesn't matter where I was from. I would say the exact same thing. And that is why they bombed Japan instead of Germany. Because Germany surrendered. So, Darlene, go. Okay.
The Soviets could not have won without Lend-Lease. Another myth has it that the Soviets could not have survived or won World War II without massive American Lend-Lease. Lend-Lease clearly helped. However, the bulk of Lend-Lease did not arrive until 1944 and 1945, by which point the Soviets were already near a victory.
Like, really, good job, Lend-Lease. Kept it short, really. You kept it short? I'm gonna kill you. I mean, Japan was bombed out of necessity. Another myth is that Japan was bombed unnecessarily because they were on the verge of surrendering anyway. And a lot of factors lead to this being a complete myth. In and out. Clear myth. Let me show you the fact. The first bombs were not even used. Wait, sorry, my weave. The first bombs were not even used on Japan. And Japan used it on other people. I mean, it may not have been the exact same bomb, but they still bombed people. Like Pearl Harbor, Midway Island, Singapore, other general areas, and the Japanese had misgoverned millions by killing, starving, raping, torturing people, being done by Japanese overlords daily. And I'm not saying Hitler wasn't bad. He is and was a terrible person, but so was the Japanese. So whenever you think about Hitler killing the Jews, think about the Japanese killing thousands daily. So don't you dare say the Japanese were bombed unnecessarily or because of racism. Because that is a misuse of prejudice or racism. Because we as people of color don't get to decide what is racism and not is racism. Because there's a fine line between using racism to be using a line of racism to try to be seen as innocent, even when you were doing such more bad things than us. And I'm not saying this because I'm American. I would say this no matter where I was from. So don't you get it twisted. So the next time you think about Hitler killing the Jews, think about the Japanese doing the same thing. I'm sorry, Darlene. I'm too emotional right now.
Hola, me llamo Onika, wrist frío, pelo rosa, culo gordo.
Los maleantes quieren gribe, call baby quieren kush, 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 kush. Los gatos quieren gribe, call baby quieren kush, kush, kush.
And that's all for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell us in the comments below what you like and what you didn't like. That's it. Bye.